We are back at Women in Tech Conference 2022. This is the interview stage. My name is Leila Trulson, and I have the big honor of talking to some of our speakers off stage. And personally, I feel like these conversations always get a little bit more intimate, and we can get some good stuff out of these speakers. You guys have an opportunity to write in your questions, thoughts, feelings, on the chat that you see next to the screen, and I've actually already shown the speakers some of the comments that came during their speech, and so it's really fun to see that you guys are interactive and sharing your piece. With me right now, I have Sara Freyelsleben.
Freyelsleben, yes.
Freyelsleben, I'm sorry about that, and
That's
Vilma
okay.
Emanuelsson. You guys had the honor of being one of the first speakers. Are you
Yes.
happy about that?
I am actually, yeah, because now I can enjoy the whole experience and without being very nervous.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Sarah, in your talk, you spoke about the importance of showing up, and you did ask the audience to tell the person next to them why did they show up. So I feel like I want to twist that question and ask it to you guys. Why did you show up today?
I think it's really an important question you ask. And interestingly enough, as I was preparing for this speech, I had a speech coach helping me.
Yeah.
And in one of the more tough sessions, she asked me that herself. She said, I really want to feel. Why are you showing up? And I had to spend some time really boiling it down. And I'm showing up because I want a bright future for humanity. Of course, you can say for your own children, but really, I just feel connected to humanity as a group of as a species, and that's why I show up, because I believe we need to design solutions to save our planet and to save humanity. That's why I show up.
Wow, that's a very good answer. Was the speech coach happy with that, or was he just like, oh,
I
you
think
can
she was
work on that one?
eventually happy with the. I think she was eventually happy with the final product.
Yeah, amazing. Vilma, why did you show up today?
I mainly showed up because I really believe in this, and I think it's so important to discuss this area because it's not discussed about enough. I really want this to reach out to as many people as possible, so when we actually go on the market, a lot of people would know about it, so they can get the help they deserve to have in school. But also just to inspire, to show, because I am young, and to show that it's possible and you can do it, and inspire other people.
You did mention that you're young, but you're not young in the game that way. Like, you started programming at the age of 7.
Yes, I did.
How did you even find programming at that stage?
Well, it started with the hacking stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember it correctly, I think it came from the video games. I was playing a lot of video games. And maybe I wasn't really that good at the video games.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find a way to win anyways.
Yeah.
So that is how I got into the world of hacking, and then I was inspired by other things, such as Edward Snowden, for example. And I just fell deep into this whole, like, I wanted to know everything about it. And that's just how it started. So it came from the hacking.
Hacking and Edward Snowden. Amazing. And you said that you weren't really that good at gaming in the beginning. And I think, Sarah, you have previously criticized the obsession with specialization. Can you tell us more about that? Because I feel like it's almost a connection that people feel like they need to be super, super good at one thing.
Yeah. I kind of touched on it a little bit when I talked about STEM in the speech, and I hesitate sometimes to talk about this because we do need more women in STEM. But I think in general we have an obsession in our culture to specialize. You know, we go to university, we study this, and we specialize, and that's what you do. And you're not really supposed to go off the script of what you've studied. But the solutions of tomorrow are usually not coming from going deeper and deeper in topics. They're coming from combining things that haven't been combined before. So if everybody's going deep, nobody's looking around and going sideways. So we need to go deep and sideways. And that's why I criticize specialization, not because we shouldn't do it. There's a book by a Danish author named Kenneth Mikkelsen called The Neo-Generalist, and I think he kind of nails it. He talks about how we need to be broad and deep at the same time. And that's what I strive to do and want to foster acceptance for in the world, because I think more people want to do that. We don't feel like we're allowed to. Like, society isn't designed for it.
Vilma, do you feel like it's been a shift? Do you feel like the new generation kind of values being a generalist more than a specialist, or do you feel like we're still fostered in the same kind of you need to be super good at one specific thing to make it?
I think I grew up with the idea that I had to learn specific things to have some kind of self-confidence.
Yeah.
So if I was good at a lot of things, then I would just be basic. Like that wouldn't be special. I wouldn't have something that was like, oh, that is Wilma. So that was something I worried about a lot. Like I worried about it. So I think it's actually something that we still have a lot of in our generation as well. But also I think a lot of the pressure comes from maybe the older generation. So we support each other in a more general way, I think. And just trying to find multiple things that you can do and not just specify your personality as one. So it depends on where you are and what kind of people you talk to.
And talking about doing a lot of things in life, you're a student, you do public speaking now, you're running a business, you also work part-time at a go-kart center.
Yes, I do.
How do you make it all go around?
Well, it's kind of complicated because you don't have that many hours of the day. But I just try to combine a lot of the work I do with my schoolwork. So I have always viewed school as a tool rather than something that should be my entire life. So when I get an assignment, I'm not thinking like, okay, how can I get an A? I'm more thinking, how can I combine this with my work so I can create an impact or a difference, or how can I do this to learn more? And I have an incredibly supportive school as well. So they help me a lot. So all of the assignments I've gotten, I have been able to combine with my work somehow. So I think that's how I do it. And the racing, that's just fun. That's just fuel.
Fun. You bought a go-kart.
I did.
Pretty recently. Sarah, do you go-kart?
No, but I think I should start.
Definitely, just
Yeah, amazing. I'm glad that they can support you and make that work as well. Sarah, you've been vocal about the fact that we need to make tech more feminine. What does that mean, and why is it a controversial thing to say sometimes?
Yeah, I have said that, and it's a touchy times to be talking about femininity and masculinity and these things. And what I meant by it, what I mean when I say that, is that oftentimes when I'm working in the tech space, a lot of times people ask me, why aren't more women in tech? Why can't we get more women in security? And why can't? And that's, I think, because a lot of times we talk about tech, we're only talking about the tech. We're not talking about what the tech does. So, you know, you've watched any kind of advertisement for the latest software from Dell or Microsoft, and it's like bombastic voices like, we're going to give your data power. And yeah, okay, relax. Just maybe we need to just talk about what the data is going to help you with, instead of pumping it up so much. And for me, it seems like it's very macho and unnecessarily macho. And we could easily shift it into a more compassionate, classically feminine conversation around what is this technology doing for humanity.
So that's not that controversial, is it?
Well, it depends on who you talk about femininity and masculinity with, because then you can get into some traps there, and I try to avoid some of them. It's not to be stereotypical or to say what is feminine and what is masculine, because of course there's also plenty of females who act more masculine than feminine. So it's really not about sex. It's more about
energy, maybe?
It's more about energy. Yeah, that's a good word.
Because I feel like it shouldn't be that controversial to say that there's feminine energy and there's masculine energy.
It shouldn't be.
But you never know in these times. You never know. We have spoken a lot about role models in women in tech, and obviously everybody speaking here today is a role model in some sort. But I would like to talk a little bit more about you guys also as role models. How do you feel you can affect other people or influence other people, and have there been instant when people have reached out and tell you you've had an effect?
So after we went public with this idea, I got a lot of response from people, including actual letters sent home to me just saying that they appreciate what I do.
Physical, written down.
I don't know how they got my address, but no idea.
Bought a stamp, that kind of devotion.
Yes,
okay, cool.
It was very, very wholesome. So I think it's just about just showing what you can do, but being... it's a difficult question. Because I have had so many interactions with these people now, and it feels so incredible for people to view me like that, because I view other people, and it's crazy. Like Shane.
Yeah.
So I think the most important part is just passing it forward. Like you can be a role model for someone else, and they're just creating a chain
Yeah.
of inspiration.
A chain of inspiration.
Yes.
That's a really nice catchphrase. So we have to round up here pretty soon. You guys had two very inspiring speeches.
Thank
But
you.
if you want to take one sentence from that speech, so or you really want somebody to remember when they leave today, what would that be? Sarah, if you can go first.
Keep making waves.
Keep making waves. Thank you.
And I would say that we want to change how you view your own dyslexia.
Change the way you view.
Your own dyslexia.
One more time.
Your own dyslexia.
Your own dyslexia. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, people are starting to come in here and it's getting a little bit noisy, and that's also the reason why we have to round up here. Therese Almqvist wrote, so inspiring discussion. Thank you for sharing, Sara and Vilma, which is great. And that's really what we want you guys to feel after watching this interview stage. Just give you a little bit more taste for the people who couldn't be here today but are very active online. We've got over 300 people watching, which is amazing. The main stage will start up again at 10:50. We're about 10 minutes after schedule, but I'm sure that's not a big problem. We'll probably catch up by the end of the day. And once again, Sara and Vilma, thank you so much for taking the extra time to chat a little bit with me today.
Thank
Thank you.
We'll be back.